Satnam. I'm Nirvair Singh Khalsa, and here we are in the month of November. Now these months of November and December and January, it's just a wonderful time to go deep within, to connect to that etheric part of yourself, because we've got the energy of the winter solstice that we're going to be working with in these months. And so the meditative kriya that we're going to do this month comes from this book, Your Own Infinity. We've been working with this for a couple of months, and I know I mentioned in the newsletter that we were going to do a really wonderful and powerful pranayama. And this meditative kriya is called For Christ Consciousness, which is interesting because what is that? Especially in the early years, Yogi Bhajan talked about it quite a bit, actually. If you do a search on Christ Consciousness in the Yogi Bhajan Library of Teachings, you come up with 287 different references. But basically what he said, and you have to realize he was coming from the East and he's relating to people that practice Christianity. As a matter of fact, I actually think there are more Christians practicing Kundalini Yoga as taught by Yogi Bhajan than any other religion. And so he could feel that within students, and he wanted to frame this in a certain way that was relevant to a conscious way of relating to Christianity and Jesus Christ. So his idea is that if you have Christ consciousness, you can truly be a Christian. Have Christ consciousness, you have to, as a foundation, relate to your higher self, to your infinity, your infinite self. And if you have that established, then all these things, the kindness, the compassion, the standing for what's right, that Jesus talked about and Yogi Bhajan emphasized in his years of teaching, they become much more authentic and much more real. And so we're actually going to do a meditative kriya that Jesus did. This is something that Yogi Bhajan in his travels and his research found in the Indian state of Kashmir, where this meditative kriya was written on a rock. And so there was no mantra with this, so you can use your own mantra. But the idea is that if you do what a person does from history, a person of consciousness, then you can actually assume their state of mind, their state of consciousness, and their state of being. It's true with Guru Nanak if you recite Japji or the mantras from Japji. That's true with Guru Gobind Singh if you do Jap Sap or the mantras from Jap Sap. It's by saying those things and doing those things, it affects the brain in a certain way so that you can get to that place of awareness and consciousness of that historical entity, that person. And so I've been practicing this, and it's really powerful. One thing is that it gives you a lot of energy, right? It gives you a tremendous amount of energy. And this time of year when things are quieter and you're going deep within and you're working through some of the things that are bubbling up from underneath, it really takes energy to do that. So we start with the Tunan mantra, Om Namo Gurudev Namo, 3 times. And then there's a very specific mudra for this. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your hands and you're going to take your thumb and place them on the mercury mound, the little finger mound. And then you're going to close your hands down so that the whole thing is kind of closed up in this shape. It's a Yani mudra, actually. The thumbs stay where they are, but the right thumb goes over a little bit of the left thumb, and the first joint in the thumbs are parallel to each other. But the hands, as you can see, stay closed throughout the rest. And this is held at diaphragm height. Chest is up high, chin level to the ground, in neck lock. And there is no eye position given, so just have your eyes closed and focused at the brow point. The mantra that we're using today is going to be your choice. In the Library of Teachings, Yogi Bhajan said that you could use Satnam, you can use Hari, you can use all kinds of mantras. he is, as an example, Waheguru. And so there's a very specific breath with this. You're going to inhale to a count of 5. You're going to hold the breath in, suspend the breath 20 to 25, and then exhale in 5. So it's about 5 seconds, 20 to 25 seconds, breath suspended in, and then a 5-second exhale. And then you're going to combine that with a mental internal mantra. And so you'll inhale 1 repetition of the mantra, and then you're going to hold the breath and mentally repeat the same mantra 16 times, and then you're going to exhale and with 1 repetition. So that's 18 total. And so it takes a little practice to do this because to get the exact timing of the breath down, because he really wanted you to stretch out that breath held in, and with getting the right number of repetitions mentally in. And so what I did when I was practicing this is I actually looked at a clock with a sweep hand. You can look at a digital clock and time yourself a few times so that you can get the rhythm of the mantras when you're holding the breath in. Sometimes it's good to just to get a rhythm of 4s going. That way you only have to count to 4 instead of 16. And I find that after it's a very interesting Kriya to practice. See, the hands are at the diaphragm in the mudra, and the fingers are pointed up a little bit. He didn't give an eye position, so eyes closed, focused at the brow point. And then we'll do this for 11 minutes. Once you're done with the 11 minutes, then there is no closing thing that he recommended. I would say just hold the breath briefly, then relax your hands down, and then sit in a very quiet place. This is something to do with all meditations that you do. Get yourself to that point of stillness, that 0 point, that shunya, and just hold the energy for a while. Then stretch the arms and shake and move the body, and then you can move on. And so I'm looking forward to practicing this with you this month. I found by practicing this already that it's very instructive in a certain sense, that you'll find as the mind drifts that with the pranayama and the mental repetition of the mantra, that it brings you to a state of focus, because you really do have to concentrate to make it work. And plus this pranayama builds up a lot of energy in the body. So just a wonderful thing to do for the month of November, so that you can do the same thing that Jesus did and have this Christ consciousness. Sat Nam.